Alrighty, well hello everyone, and how are you guys doing? Tireless God here with another Tireless Talk, and man, it's been a while since I've made one of these. I've just been quite busy IRL with real life stuff, with work, finishing up school, doing a lot more live streaming than anything else really. I know I don't make videos anymore, but I do live stream a handful of times during the week, so if you do want to see content from me or still want to do interaction, be sure to sub to my Twitch. It's a lot more fun for me personally to actually get like a personal experience with you guys. Like, I know making videos is awesome. I love making videos. You guys can come back and watch this whenever you want, over and over. It's fun to watch me progress. You don't have to like watch everything all at the same time. You know, you could watch like weeks of progression in like 3 minutes and you're just like, yeah. So yeah, I know video making's awesome like that, but I don't know, the live streaming aspect's been fun, and I do kind of want to get into making Tireless Talks again, because it's been so long. These are really easy to make. I like talking to you guys. I like getting things off my mind and chatting with you about the community or, you know, other RS related things, so I thought, hey, I'm going to try to make these every so often for you guys. The Bank Sold Bank Made series, I kind of did that, and I could have made like a final episode because I have pretty much everything I set out to get. The Seismics, the Ascensions, the Tier 90 armor, they're all mine. And I just haven't made like a final episode, and I guess I was really happy like when I was doing the series, because I'm like, yes, a mission, I have something to do. And then I completed it a lot faster than I thought. And I was like, alright. So like right now, my plans, when I play RS, I just kind of do it for fun. I go on with friends, I do PVM. My plans right now are to save up about 2.5 billion by October next year, around the time when RuneFest is going to be, somewhere around there. Save up a whole bunch of money because I kind of want to fly out there for free. In case you guys didn't know, Jagex allowed you to buy a ton of bonds, and then you could fly out, basically. They would tell you how many bonds would equal a plane ticket, and then you could buy a plane ticket. It wasn't like an in-game option, of course. And then you can get your hotel room, everything. So basically, I want to go to RuneFest 2015 for free. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about a few things. So it's 2015, a whole new year, a whole bunch of stuff ahead of us. Looking at all the stuff that I saw at RuneFest, there's a lot of things to come, and they also made a post about the 2015 manifesto, kind of like what they're after, and I just had another thing to talk about, which I'm probably going to name the title of this. It's OMG Jamflex. Something like that. I don't know. Just kind of just talking about, you know, the company of Jagex as a whole. I don't know much about their processes and stuff, but I just wanted to talk about it from the perspective of what I know from my company that I work at. So, which one shall I start with first? Okay, let's just start with the 2015 manifesto and see what's going on. So 2015's here, brand new year, new stuff, new things. We got a whole 12 months just ahead of us, a whole new... We're ready. Let's see what Jagex brings us this year. And of course, one of the biggest things is the player power, the Rune Labs. Like, that's awesome. Sorry, I feel a burp coming up there. Anyway, that stuff is awesome. Basically, there's going to be a Rune Labs. It's going to be like a forum, and you go on there and you vote, and we just like, yeah, we want this content stuff looked at by the players, and then if it's like really heavily backed, Jagex will look into the time that it would take to make something or how important it is to the game and basically implement it. So take power to the player's poll, but the poll options are made by the community. It's no longer Jagex like, alrighty, so here are the options we give you. No, it's going to be more so the player options. These are the things you suggested, and we're going to have you vote on. I assume there are going to be things in the poll that maybe don't all pass, like things that get a lot of support, but when they actually put to the poll of the entire community, maybe not that much interest. So I'm looking forward as to what kind of things are going to go into the game, and to see just how us as a community can make the game better. Now, one thing I do always have to say is the community are not all game developers. So Jagex, the reason why they did what they did with everything is because they know how to run a game. Some of you may disagree with that, but they know how to run a game. We do not. So hopefully a lot of the things that we suggest are analyzed very deeply. I assume if they're capable of making it into the poll, my words, then they're probably some pretty good ideas. So yeah. Really looking forward to the things that will be coming out of that, and yeah, really not much to say because I don't know. There's nothing on the table for that. We don't know what to expect from it. Now, the biggest thing I'm kind of worried about with that is anything that may be extremely heavily supported by the community, but Jagex just can't do it or won't do it. And, you know, like, if there was a thread that said, remove EOC, and all these people would flood in, like, oh, yes, remove EOC, we cannot have the EOC. You know, like, we have legacy mode, so, I mean, if you don't want EOC, you can use legacy mode. But if there was a big old poll with that, and it got so much support, I assume Jagex is going to be like, we can't do that. like we can. And the reason why is there's a lot of stuff integrated into the game now that use the EOC. For anyone who's been curious as to why they say they can't remove EOC, and then you're like, but you brought in legacy mode. It's like, yes, they brought in legacy mode. They didn't remove EOC. They just, it's still got to be in there. So there's just so many things coded into it, and I assume changing it back would be, I can't even imagine. Or just, you know, there's that legacy button. You can't uncheck the legacy button. That's what they'll do. Jagex, I found a fix for removing EOC. Permanently check everyone's legacy button. Done. I did it, guys. I fixed everything. Done. Debate settled. We're good. But there'd be a good handful of bosses. That'd be pretty hard. So maybe that's not the best idea. Nah, screw it. We'll learn. Anyway, guys. So yeah, the power player to the poll. Power to the player to the poll. What those aren't even words. I think half of this commentary that you're listening to isn't even going to be relevant, coherent words. But yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I wanted to talk about with stuff coming out. So let's move on to the other things. We got the world event. We got the new, I think it's Tuska. Yes, Tuska's coming out with a world event, and he's going to be in here. And I think it's rather than so-and-so versus so-and-so, it's going to be everyone versus this one singular god, Tuska. So we're going to go after this, and we're going to give it everything we've got. So I'm kind of interested in how that's going to play out, because it's going to be different from everything else. Before, it'd be you are on one side or you are on the other, and then you kind of fight each other. But this one's going to be everyone work together, defeat it. Ah! That's my battle cry. But yeah, it's going to be really fun. I think this is probably going to be one of the best world events overall. Maybe not the most compelling storyline, but one of the best because we're all working together and there's no sides and there's no debate and all that stuff. So as a whole, we're just really going to enjoy it. So there's not much information on that. I remember at RuneFest they were talking about it. Seems like a fun thing. Looking forward to it. Coming out next is the skills they talked about. There's a lot of stuff coming out with skills, and they're just like, we know... Like, people want to get 99, but that's all they want to get is hit 99. And there's things like, to make a rune plate body, you have to be level 99 smithing, but to make Superior Tetsu, you need 90. It's like, I don't get it. This is better, and this is shit. Why do I need better stats for the shit thing? So basically what they're looking at are ways to increase the, I guess this is going to be a made-up word, the wantability, the reason, or I'm just going to stick with wantability. There's probably a word I'm looking for. If you know the word I'm looking for, just comment down below. The desire, there we go. Haha, I figured it. There's no desire to get... you know, anything between those mid-levels, like if you're level 60, 70, 80, or even like early 90s, there's like no drive for you. Like every so often there's a skill, like, you know, with Herblore, you get like 96. It's like, yeah, overloads. Prayer, 95. You get turmoil and all those. It's like, I'm powerful now. So I'm the best at impersonations of in-game characters. So yeah. they're trying to make those gaps a little bit more interesting for you guys, so that way when you're training up, you're like, man, I'm really unlocking a lot of interesting content. So we're going to see how that goes. And yeah, they said a lot of it is going to be determined by the player polls, so that's going to tie into the first thing I talked about. Combat. Now, they say here that there are going to be some tweaks to combat, working on things in the wilderness. The thing that I'm looking forward to most in the wilderness is that the wildy worm thing. That's going to be awesome. Those weapons look great. But they also said that there will be a large range of combat targets to offer, including new groups of high-level training mobs and a few bosses that will push even the greatest warriors to their limit, making Araxor and Virago look like level 3 chickens. So that'll be interesting. Hopefully they're not referring to that as like Tuska. Maybe Tuska. We never know. Tuska might be the one. They might be the one. But yeah, we'll see. Because Araxor is like mainly a solo boss. I found that kind of weird. They're like making Araxor and Virago look like level 3 chickens. It's like, well, those are kind of two bosses. So is this going to be a solo boss? So you're like leaning towards Araxor, or is it a group boss? So you're leaning towards Virago? I don't know. I don't know. So we'll kind of see that in the future. But if there really is a boss, if Mod Chris L touches it at all, then that's kind of scary. But yeah, I'm sure, you know, within 2 weeks we'll strategize the best way to kill it. But yeah, as long as it involves a lot of teamwork. See, that's what I'm really looking forward to, is if this boss that's going to come out requires a lot of steady teamwork. Like Virago, yeah, but we have it like down to a science, and it's not quote unquote like teamwork. Like, oh, you do this, and it's kind of the same thing over and over. Like, I would love a boss that would require teamwork, like really dedicated teamwork. Like Rise of the Six is kind of getting there, because you got to talk to each other, you got to know which boss goes first, you got to know the right rotation, you know, things kind of happen randomly, you got to communicate with each other, unless you're really good and just know what to do on each side. So, I mean, it depends on how good you are at rods. But yeah, looking forward to that. We got a quest, and there's only a few months we wait for the 200th quest, Dimension of Disaster. I like how they also, like, the 100th quest was Recipe for Disaster. So now they got Dimension of Disaster. I like that they brought that in there. Which is kind of a interesting quest that's going to come out. I think this is the one, yeah, this is where the parallel universe, where the hero never existed. So even though there are tens of thousands of heroes across Gielinor, if you specifically did not exist, just saying none of these other people have done anything apparently. I'm waving my hand across the screen, if you can imagine me, just like all these people, like you there in the Trim Dragon, fuck you for not doing anything. But basically, so like if you never existed, kind of, let's just see how this world would have played out had you not been there. And I'm really looking forward to the storyline of this quest, like really looking forward to it. It seems like it's going to be extremely interesting. One of my favorite things is the zombie with the teddy bear. If you guys go check out this news post, you'll see the zombie with the teddy bear. It's kind of adorable. Just saying. But yeah, this quest should be a good one. There's a whole bunch of other ones. I think there's one with Zamrock's Heist. Yep, there we go. Zamrock's Heist in the Great Train Robbery. Inspired by Ocean's 11. Oh, I see. So yeah, there's a lot of things like that. More quests coming out. This one's apparently supposed to be really good. The Zamrock Heist one. That one's supposed to tickle our lower bone. Like, really good, apparently. Yeah, so we're going to see what happens with that one. Community development, our new... I didn't even read this one. So that's more like the Ninja Team. We've already started with RSTV, our weekly Twitch stream. So yeah, they're going to be doing that. Ninja and core game improvements. So continuing on with Rune Labs and stuff. Alrighty, so that's wrapping up the 2015. I'm looking forward to it. There should be a lot of stuff. They didn't give us a whole bunch of things that they're going to be giving specifically. They kind of gave like the big main updates that we all know about. You know, they didn't go into specifications as to like the skills, what they're going to train with it. They gave a few little hints, like new ways to train, you know, your player-owned house, your construction, maybe outside, or do more things with your house, things like that. But we'll see what they're going to do for that. But overall, really, really excited for this year. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was the OMG Jamflex part. And the part that I want to talk about that is the production of things at Jagex. Now, like I said, I don't work at Jagex. I don't know how their production works. I don't know their standards. But I do know one thing. I work for an IT company in the QA department. And I also talk to a whole bunch of people who work in the development, because being in QA, I need to talk to them a lot. So I see so many posts online. Like, Jagex, why did you fix this? Why didn't you fix this? This is still broken. Or, like, just, like, really... just these random things. Like, I saw a post on Reddit, which was a guy that got 2 clue scrolls. What he did was he, like, looted one from an elf, and apparently they haven't programmed, or at least, I'm not sure if this is fixed, but I hope it is. The crystal chest in the Elven City has, like, a different drop table than the other chest. Well, apparently they didn't add the, we'll give you a clue, but first check if I already have a clue kind of situation. I think that's what it was. So the guy got 2 clues, and the name of his post was Nice QA Team Jagex. And I just thought to myself, that is so extremely situational. Like, you've got to be kidding me, right? Like, if that's really what makes you question the QA team, you got 2 clues. Apparently that's game breaking now. Now you can do 2 clues at once. It'll take you the same time to complete both. You just happen to get them really fast. I don't know. Like, that's a very weird thing for them to say. Like, if they release something and literally you couldn't play it, or there was no content, then I would have questions about QA. But from what I see, I commend Jagex's QA for not messing up stuff. It seems like they do a damn good job. I mean, if you look into the patch notes every single week, every graphical update, every in-game update, every ninja update, everything that comes out, look in there every week and see how many things come through on a weekly basis. And this all runs through QA. A handful, I think it's like 12 people, maybe 14 people. I don't know how many are on the QA team in total, but I think that's just how many is on Twitter. These people need to test pretty much every scenario. Now, imagine, especially with a video game. You have a video game where there's mechanics that, I think yesterday was Jagex's, RuneScape's 14th birthday. 14 years of code. Tons of mechanics, different ways of achieving things. Like, there are so many things that go behind every single QA. Like, imagine trying to remember everything that's ever been added to RuneScape, and you have to be sure you need to test it all. Like, it kind of bothers me when people complain about small stuff, or even, like, semi-big stuff. Like, I've seen people that are like, hey, can you add this to, like, this kind of Slayer task? And it's some, like, obscure monster that no one's, like, ever touched. You know? It's like, hey, I was killing mages, and this mage that is only one of a kind and in this corner island that I wouldn't even kill on the Slayer task in the first place, but could you add it to Slayer for this kind? And they're just like, I guess. Oh my god. I just choked on my own spit. But, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you gotta test each week with this game, so I honestly commend them for not breaking a lot of stuff. Now, string of importance, or the line of importance. At my job, I do QA, and basically, when we get an item in, it's listed by 2 things: the type and its priority. The type kind of says, is it a bug? Is it a graphical design? Is it something that's going to come out soon? Is it something, that's, I don't know, part of the web page, Like, it changes depending on what it is. And I assume they have that as well. And there's priority. Now, if something's a bug, like a game-breaking bug or something that just really, isn't right in the game, those take top priority at my work. Well, I don't work on a game. I work on software. So it's a little different. So those take that. So we take those and look at those first. Then the next thing we look at is priority. How high in priority is this? Is it a bug that's really breaking, or is it a bug that's just causing some nuisances, like, we're adding 3 zeros at the end. So like for like a dollar amount, it's like 100.000, it's like, oh, well, that's a bug, but it's not, extremely breaking anything. We just need to make sure not to show that third zero. So it lines up like that, and I assume Jagex has a system very, very similar to this. Ooh, there's that burp. So professional. But so yeah, lots of people complain about, like, why hasn't this been fixed, but why has this been fixed? Now, looking at the feedback for how much players feel it's important, and also accordance to how important it is, that's one thing. Now, the other thing is, we had a customer at my place call in, and he had this bug that was specific to his account because of the way he did things, that we needed to fix it. Like, it was top priority. It was top priority bug. Now, we didn't get that out to him for 2 more days because of the way the code reacted to our system. Basically, we fixed it, but then we broke something else. We need to make sure that something else wasn't broken anymore. We fixed it again, but for some reason it was saving incorrectly. We fixed it a 3rd time. This is going back and forth between the developer, and that's like another issue. I forget what the last one was. But basically, so it's not so much Jagex. Sometimes it's not like they're not working on things. Sometimes, like, they want to make sure when they fix it, nothing else gets broken, or when they fix it, that it's fixed right. So if something isn't fixed right, they're going to have to pass it back. So if you're wondering, like, why didn't this update happen today? Or this is something that was breaking. Well, maybe by the time Monday rolled around and they had the patch notes, it wasn't ready to go out. So just from my point of view, and just to let all of you guys know, like, the order processes, I understand you may be upset if things don't get fixed, but you also got to realize at the same time, they're a company, and I'm telling you, they're probably doing the best they can. Actually, I don't even say probably. They are doing the best they can to get out the updates that are needed as soon as possible. If they see it on Twitter, Reddit, the main forums, anywhere like that, I'm sure they put something in to be sure to fix it. As long as, it's reasonable. It's not like, I think they should be purple instead. Zamrock should be purple. So just be sure to give them time, guys. Remember, when your stuff comes to the queue for them to work on, it's based on priority. They want to make sure the most important things get out first. And some of the most important things are the major updates that are coming out each week. Imagine that, bringing a whole new game mechanic into it each week. Every single week, you need to test a huge game update along with a whole bunch of patches. And also another thing to think about before I go, this will be my very last spiel at the end. Players test and update as a community more in the first, 15 minutes, I think it is, than the QA team probably has throughout their entire testing process. And if that doesn't make sense to you, imagine this. Give 15 minutes to each of the players that are doing the update, and then compare that to how much time the QA team, 14 people, how much time. So if one person worked on something for 8 hours, if we gave 15 minutes for each player, so that would mean 4 players would equal an hour. And then 4 times 8. Oh my god, I'm doing math in my head. 4 times 8. So 32 players equal 1 8-hour shift of some guy. And each of those players are probably going to play it differently. They're just going to be like, rah! And test it. They'll click this button. They'll go somewhere. They'll do something. The QA testers can't think of every specific scenario that's gonna happen. If I eat a swordfish while dropping a bucket, then I talk to Zilliana, but then I use an axe on her head while I'm hitting the notes button to stall it. It makes me God. It gives me a JMod crown. What are the odds of that? But Yeah, just a few things on my mind looking towards 2015, and for anyone who wanted my 2 cents on the processes of what I think Jagex does in their job. Ta-da! There you go. Anyway, this is probably like a 15 to 20 minute video. I'm talking way too much. Anyway, guys, I've gotten 100 corrupted ore in this time. Yeah, that's a little while. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this Tireless talk. I hope to make more in the future with more updates coming out and stuff. But yeah, if you want to stay in contact with things that I am doing, be sure to go to my Twitch page, twitch.tv/tirelessgod, and follow me there. And if you also want to keep up with other content I'm doing, check out the RealScapers channel. That's RealScaperz, or Z for some of my foreign listeners. But yeah, I will catch you guys later.